Hello, everyone. Our next speaker today has done a successful career as a global leader in several international companies, including Nokia, ABB, and Wärtsilä. In 2012, this leading lady was invited to lead the Finnish government Future Work-Life program, and she is currently the group lead in Teke's Leader Business, Productivity and Joy at Work program.
She's a graduate from our school, or former Helsinki School of Economics, the predecessor of Aalto School of the Business, and holds a PhD in technology from Aalto School of Science. In her doctoral thesis, she proved that a climate for positivity drives productivity and good business results. Now she will give us a speech on dreams, meanings, as success. So let us present Merja Fischer.
Woohoo. Thank you. We have the technology here, so the laptop ran out of electricity, so we have a supporting function here with us. It's been an amazing opportunity to be here and listen to the speeches this morning. My former colleague from Nokia, Sari Baldauf, and then the people here in the panel discussion. The topic of today has been pretty much about success and what is success. To kind of share a very personal experience, about 20 years ago, it was 95 September, I was fired because I was laughing in the corridors and I was buying candies and flowers to my people using my own money. So those were the reasons why I was fired. I was the vice president in the finance company. The only reason, the actual reason, was that I was coming from the wrong group of organization because there was a merge. Anyhow, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have had the opportunity to work with Nokia, with ABB, both in Finland and abroad, working in Wärtsilä. I wouldn't definitely not do my PhD on such an important topic, and I wouldn't have the opportunity to be part of the Finnish future work-life development as much as I am today. So never look for any pitfall or setback, something that will ruin your life. It also might be the best thing ever happens to me, like it was in my case. There's research that I refer quite often, what makes young people your age enjoy work, and you can see that it's the atmosphere in the workplace. It's the people you work with. It's not the salary, definitely not. It's probably not even the work what you're doing, but it's if you have feeling in the team where you're working with. In my title there was this dreams. And I think it's very important that you think about your dreams. There were Sari Multala mentioned the passion has been her driving force. And I think you have to dream big what you want to be. And but of course that's not enough. You have to have the knowledge and experience. And I would say that everything what I've done so far, I graduated from financial accounting from Helsinki School of Economics. And I remember when I left the school, because I hated accounting, definitely. I did like this. I was turning around in Arcadia and said, never again finance. Then I've been kind of 20 years or so CFO in stock exchange companies. So there you go. So. But you have to get the experience, you have to have the knowledge, and all kinds of knowledge is good. Knowledge from scouting. I was young, I was a scout leader, starting to do food in one of the big camps. So all kinds of experience you can get from working with people in different type of occasions will take you forward in your career, your life. But then actions create your future. And there was some talk this morning, Peter took up this Jack Welch, and And it was a year back in Nordic Business Forum where her wife was talking about her recipe for success. And that recipe was 10, 10, 10. And what she meant and how I implement it in my own life is that I think about things that the next 10 minutes will have an impact on the next 10 days of my life or the next 10 weeks of my life. The next 10 days might have an impact on the next 10 months of my life and then have an impact on the next 10 years of my life. So every day, as Asko already shared us early today, we are making decisions, and they are very important decisions. You cannot analyze afterwards if the decisions were better or worse, that were the alternatives. But the main thing is that when you make the decisions, you understand your own responsibility. You can never blame other people or families or your friends or your spouses, girlfriends, boyfriends about the decisions. You have to take responsibility, but you have to make the decision. And that will make your future. Today's decisions are your future. And you never know how close you are. Of course, we all think that it's great to see these entrepreneurs that we have seen here today, how they have been able to make their success. And it's important to understand that this is hard work, that we already heard earlier. But never give up if you really feel that you have a passion you want to accomplish. There might be different ways to find and get to your target, so don't get frustrated. All the setbacks are actually building your muscles. Think about the sports. When you get a setback, that actually gives you more energy to fight and find a new way to get to your goal. I think the ultimate target for human being is to be happy. Sonja Lubomirski has written a book called The How of Happiness, and she has made research on what makes people happy. And it's quite simple, actually, and revealing that only 50% comes from the family, the genes, where we are born. 10% is the salary, the money, the status, and 40% are those intentions and choices we make every day. So you can choose to be happy, and it's your own choice. When I had my team in Wärtsilä, in Vaasa, in 2007, we decided to centralize everything to Finland globally, to be against the other companies sending all the work to Asia or eastern part of the world. We had the T-shirt that in the front the T-shirt says that happiness is a choice, and back of the T-shirt there was that I choose to be happy. So it really is your own up to you if you are happy or not. You cannot blame anybody about that. You make your choices and you are what you make it. We've been a lot of talk about today about meaning. Could you, those of you who know today, what is your meaning in life? Could you raise your hand? Okay. I think 3 or 4. My mission in life is to help people to find meaning in life. I'm working in charity work with young people between 17 and 23. In Jyväskylä, we have a company there. I'm in the background, but I'm helping the team to help young people to really find their meaning in life, to really find the way to accomplish what they are dreaming, and actually to start to dream big. But I think this is something that you might want to start to think about and let yourself sit down and think about what is your meaning of life? What is important to you? What you want to achieve? I mean, otherwise, how can you be an entrepreneur? How can you? I mean, we're doing business plans when we are building companies, but have you done your own business plan for your own life? have you written your own manuscript, or are you playing somebody else's manuscript and you're just playing a role there? An example from my own life, 2 years back I was almost an owner of a summer cottage, because I have my siblings, they are 10 years older than me, and they have summer cottages and sailing boats, and they have children. I don't have children, I don't have sailing boat, and I'm racing Formula cars. So we are different, but I thought, well, the family story goes so that you have to have a summer cottage. So, okay, I have to buy one. And I was lucky that one of my friends said that, Merja, what the heck are you doing? You don't need a summer cottage. Use the money and travel around the world and experience things that you might not get when you are sitting in a summer cottage. So I think it's important that you realize that you are your own master, and you should not follow any family tradition or any family narrative that this is the way we should live, because they might scope your decisions or your behavior totally wrong direction. The world is changing so much. My parents were living during the wartime, and they were saying that, Merja, or they're talking all about that you have to save money for your retirement. Well, I don't have to save any more money for my retirement. I have earned enough, but still I have this thinking in my head. So I have to fight all the time that, Merja, you can spend money, you have enough money, you can spend. I don't have to follow the mother talk in my head saying that you have to save money for your future, for your elderly time. So it's important to kind of capture what kind of we call myths we have in our heads that are coming from somewhere that is not anymore valid. I mean, you are living in the new era, and things that happen to your parents or your parents' parents are not valid anymore. So you need to kind of refresh your thinking to the present. This is from the book, I published a book last year, Talentum business book, Potkua palvelubisneksen, asiakaskokemus luodaan yhdessä. And we have this kind of frames in the book. Everybody wants to be part of something bigger. Everybody wants to be serving a higher purpose, both in an individual level, but also in the organizational level. And Sari took it this morning very, very nicely. She said that if you can get a common and collective purpose in your own organization or whatever team you're working with, then you can really start to make miracles happen. And I've seen that miracle happen. I will talk to you about that later. Since I left my career in Wärtsilä, my boss said to me that, Merja, could you just think one night more and come tomorrow? Let's discuss about that is it really wise to leave a good job, a global position in Wärtsilä, good salary and bonuses, and you don't have anything that you would start to do tomorrow. And I have so strong passion that I want to improve the work life in Finland. I want to improve the profitability of the companies in Finland and make Finland flourish. And I didn't have anything on that Wednesday, 8th of May 2012, but I had this mission, I had this dream. And it took next morning, or it was noon, my phone rang, and I don't answer phone calls where I don't know the number, but then I was, okay, it's some kind of calling me and selling me some newspapers that I can make the day of this person, and I was kind of nicely answering the phone. And it happened to be from the Suomen Akatemia, the fund, and they asked that, Merja, we have the Finnish government assignment, and we're looking for a leader for the assignment for the future work life. And this took 20 hours from the point that I had resigned or said to my boss that I will leave the company. So next morning or next day I already had a new job, and then the Tekes lead position was then opening some months back after that. So you need to kind of make the decision. This is my decision, not knowing where to go. But the most important thing is that you find, and we individuals find the meaning why we are here for. And I don't see that that's related to the age. I mean, the earlier you find it, the more sure you find the way, what you want to do and what you love, and then you can make the miracles and new businesses happen. But when you feel positive meaning at work, that means that you feel well, you are flourishing, you have vitality. And my supervisor, my PhD, Mari Kira, she's docent in Aalto-yliopisto, Aalto University. She has researched this topic, and we're doing actually, as we speak, a common research on this. So in individual level, we can build meaning for ourselves. When we find a work that we find meaningful, then we learn all the time, and that brings us well-being. Then it might be a case that there are hard times, like many of us have today in the work life in Finland. But if you have optimism and you have hope, and you can see that there's always something you can learn when you are in the position of big changes happening, you don't know if you can keep your job, but you still see that there's something good that you can take with you for the next job, then you can get this well-being and you can find the meaning. And then, especially those who are starting to be team leaders in companies or managers, challenging tasks create meaning. So we actually want to get the difficult jobs in order to learn that we can accomplish, and we get the self-esteem, and from that we can then get the meaningful experience and well-being. One of my colleagues, Jussi Alkio, he retired from a consulting company, and he did his PhD a few years back, and he interviewed 20 Finnish CEOs and asked what was the breakthrough in their life that they are now the CEO of a stock exchange company in Finland. And the main kind of comparison came out that all of these 20, they had been quite young in their career when their boss had given them such a big task or challenging job, or sent them somewhere to wherever, Asia or Africa or wherever, to build something new all by themselves. That when they could kind of prove themselves and the rest of the organization and their boss that they could make it and they could make the thing happen, that was actually the key point on their whole career. So never say no if you feel, and I think this kind of female topic that you guys, you are eager to say yes, even if you know that there's no way you can do it. But I mean, we need to have that, because you can do anything. There's not a thing you couldn't do. I mean, as Asko said, that he didn't know anything about the stock exchange stuff, and then he was the CIO. So I mean, CEO, I think it's important to have the courage and the persistence to do things, and I say, yes, I can do it, you will do it, you can manage anything. It's not about that. Then in my thesis, in my doctorate thesis, one thing that you can build meaning to other people is the positive interaction. So how you treat each other and how you encounter. And they're very simple things. It's helping others, it's appreciation, it's participating, so taking people along with you in project and involving. And it's unselfishness. I think that's very important in working life. Being a team member, being a leader, to be unselfish and kind of give the gratitude to those people who have really done the work. No leader can do the whole organization's work. It's always the people in the organization, and we need to give the gratitude. But then I think what we have missed in major of our companies in Finland is the compelling vision in organizational company level. And Kone has found it I think they have a good clue on this. They say that their mission is dedicated to people flow. And of course that comes naturally from their elevator business. So people want to go to an elevator that goes smoothly. But at the same time, what they say here is that we are dedicated that our people are feeling flow. Flow means työnilo. So people are feeling flow at work. So in the same mission statement, they say both something to their customers as well as to their own personnel. In my case, in Wärtsilä, in 2007, I made a bold decision to centralize everything to Finland against all odds. And having that mission and people feeling in my management team and my organization that we can really make a difference, we can really serve a higher purpose, we can create 100 new jobs to Finland, was actually that kind of energy that has not been seen often in Wärtsilä. So people are really enthusiastic about making this happen. We had plans, but we were more driven by emotions and passion. And we made it. It was quite funny when it was 10th of January 2012, and we had been working. I had regional offices in Houston, India, and Holland, and we took all those organizations. We transferred the work to Finland, and in 2012, exactly 5 years after the startup of this strategy, I was in the front page of Kauppalehti, and there was written Vastavirtaan. And it was kind of a nice prize for us that even Kauppalehti noticed that you can make a difference, you can do things against the normal way of doing, as all the big companies were transferring the work away from Finland to low-cost countries. And still we are, since I left 2 years back, but I know that they are comparing the productivity for the shared service center in Wärtsilä and other companies, and we're still very productive in Finland. Of course, it's not only employee satisfaction that brings that productivity, but it's of course a lot of IT development and electricity, building the electronic processing in the functions. But these things are important, and we don't use all the potential we have in using the mission. So the future work-life values. When I was building this slide, I was talking to some alumni in Kauppakorkea in the School of Economics, and I put heart in the meaning. And why heart? Because when people are feeling meaning in their lives, in their work, research proves that you live longer, you're feeling better, and you're happier. By the way, these yellow font are those values that had been defined by the Minister of Work. They have this kind of group or project called Työelämä 2020, because in Finland we have the target to be the best place to work in Europe in 2020. And these yellow values are values that several group of Finnish people, employed people, young people, unemployed, retired people were actually building what are the values for Finnish work life, and these 4 came. So the meaning was the most important from their perspective as well. Then came the resilience. And resilience is something that I'm actually working today quite a lot, because resilience is something that you can really exercise, you can really be better in resilience. And it's a powerful asset, and we need resilience. I can tell you that when I was fired 20 years back, my husband, nowadays ex-husband, he bought me a boxing, this kind of boxing stuff, And the evening I went home, and he said that, well, put now the pictures of those guys you hate in the company that fired you, and then that you can kind of box these guys. So you need resilience all the time, and I think it's very important that you never give up. Courage to make bold things in anything you decide you choose to do, and trust that you can do it, and trust that the life will carry. I think that's the most important thing has been to me for many years, that I can remind myself that the life will always take care of you, whatever happens. So it gives you the hope for the future, and the optimism as we have here the next. So these white ones are my own values. Optimism and work-life balance. Sari was talking about this as well in the morning. There's research about how the work-life balance of a leader has an impact on the team. So if you are a leader, a team leader or a manager, whatever in your organization, if you don't take care of yourself, your physical, your mental well-being, you will send emails during the night or weekends. You will put the pressure on your own people. So people are watching you, and it's important that you take care of yourself. You have the energy. I think the only thing you need to have, whether being a leader or whether being just doing your job in an organization, share your energy, because that's what we are here for. We want to get the energy from people and kind of use that energy together, not to drain other people. I don't want to be in occasions with people where somebody's trying to get my energy away. And then what is this positive behavior, positive interaction? I launched in my thesis a new concept called positive deviant behavior. And those who were listening to Peter on this networking session today, he was talking about when you go to a party and you are afraid of the people there. You go and you stand back on the wall because then you have your back is kind of safe. And I think it's the same thing here when I talk about positive deviant behavior, because negative and neutral behavior is automatic, because it's in our DNA. In the caveman times, we only have two options, either to fight or fly. But today we are not in that kind of situation that we have to be afraid of our lives. But to be positive, to really have the intention to help others, to participate, to walk alongside with your colleagues, with your friends, you have to decide that this is what I want. And that's why I call it positive deviant. So you have to kind of make a decision that, yes, this is important. I can see that this is something that I want to be. It has to be automatic, and without exercising that, you won't be the person when you're going out here and somebody has fallen down, that you are the first to go and help him or her. And it's kind of one of those intentions that we had in the 40%, that you want to be like that. And continuous learning. I did my PhD 2 years back. I had a book from Talentum, and I just finalized the Resilient Coach program this month. I'm learning all the time, and it could be anything. It could be also learning, flying, or learning to do things that are not business related, but they will give you some kind of new perspectives what the life can be from other people's eyes. So just, the positive deviant behavior. And I think people, I've seen that people actually find it very positive that when you give surprises. Taking flowers to your spouses, or asking even strangers, or saying something nice in a tram, that, hey, you have a nice jacket, or you have a nice hair, or whatever. It's really nice that to be kind of spontaneous both with people you know and for people that you don't know. Atmosphere was the most important thing for young people based on the research I showed the first slide. Okay, how can we then build a positive atmosphere, a climate for positivity? This is a picture from my thesis. And what it says here is that in every interaction where we meet people, whether beginning in our private life or in the business life, we come with our cognitive processes, we come there with our attitudes, our beliefs, and we come there with our emotions. And in that interaction, we can make a difference. If we in that interaction create a meaning for the person then, that creates both me and the other person positive emotions, that enlarges our thinking action repertoire and gives us totally endless opportunities, seeing things in a much more wider perspective. And then we are able to do the positive performances. We are then more eager to spread this positivity, helping others. And that then creates a climate for positivity. The climate for positivity doesn't come from a leader or a manager. It's between you and me. And I think this is the beauty that any of us can kind of start the positive interaction in an organization, not wait for the leader or manager to start that team building, but we can all start and be the pioneers on building the good environment where we all want to work and for what we want to work. I was in Aalto University in 2009. I had my study break doing this statistical analysis for my thesis. It was just the time when the Aalto was started, and I went to the coffee room, and the ladies were talking, so bad atmosphere here, and terrible, and I couldn't, I couldn't keep my mouth shut, and I said, hey, it's not about Tuula Teeri or any of the leading people here. It's all about us, how we make it happen here, because none of the leaders are here, we are here. So we cannot blame anybody in the organization about the bad climate. We can always start the change ourselves. So what is success? Money, career, happiness. There's been a lot of talk today. I don't know if some of you have noticed this Helsingin Sanomat test, that you can test your actual salary. There's the link you can find easily. And you can score there. You can put your salary, what you have, and then you can score how several things, such as how happy you are at the work, how meaningful you find your work, what is the social impact of your work, importance to the society, and length of the day. And I got 10 times more salary when I put the figures here. And it's not, I don't want to say that I don't need money, but I mean, I can make what I have already. So for me, it's more important to do things. And I'm sure that the more I do things that I love will actually give me more money and more opportunities to accomplish my task, my passion. This is a 4-minute video. When you go home or when you have extra time, look at the whole video. It's for 15 minutes, so I couldn't take it with me here. About Steve Jobs when he was in 2005 or 6, I think, giving his speech to the graduate students in Stanford University. And watching that will give you an insight what the life can be and most often is. It's not kind of a linear. It's very complex, complicated journey, but it's something that we all want to, in the end of the day. Let's see. Should have. No. Technical. Mä tarvitsisin hiiren tähän nyt. Mä en näe tästä sitä. Pitäisi saada se tohon niin kuin lite hiiret tuohon, että se lähtisi starttaamaan. Okei, joo nyt. Joo, panna menemään.
I was lucky. I found what I loved to do early in life. Woz and I started Apple in my parents' garage when I was 20. We worked hard, and in 10 years, Apple had grown from just the two of us in a garage into a $2 billion company with over 4,000 employees. We just released our finest creation, the Macintosh, a year earlier, and I just turned 30. And then I got fired. How can you get fired from a company you started? Well, as Apple grew, we hired someone who I thought was very talented to run the company with me. And for the first year or so, things went well. But then our visions of the future began to diverge, and eventually we had a falling out. When we did, our board of directors sided with him. And so at 30, I was out, and very publicly out. What had been the focus of my entire adult life was gone, and it was devastating. I really didn't know what to do for a few months. I felt that I had let the previous generation of entrepreneurs down, that I had dropped the baton as it was being passed to me. I met with David Packard and Bob Noyce and tried to apologize for screwing up so badly. I was a very public failure, and I even thought about running away from the valley. But something slowly began to dawn on me. I still loved what I did. The turn of events at Apple had not changed that one bit. I'd been rejected, but I was still in love. And so I decided to start over. I didn't see it then, but it turned out that getting fired from Apple was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. The heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again, less sure about everything. It freed me to enter one of the most creative periods of my life. During the next 5 years, I started a company named Next, another company named Pixar, and fell in love with an amazing woman who would become my wife. Pixar went on to create the world's first computer-animated feature film, Toy Story, and is now the most successful animation studio in the world. In a remarkable turn of events, Apple bought Next, and I returned to Apple, and the technology we developed at Next is at the heart of Apple's current renaissance. And Lorene and I have a wonderful family together. I'm pretty sure none of this would have happened if I hadn't been fired from Apple. It was awful tasting medicine, but I guess the patient needed it. Sometimes life's going to hit you in the head with a brick. Don't lose faith. I'm convinced that the only thing that kept me going was that I loved what I did. You've got to find what you love, and that is as true for work as it is for your lovers. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking and don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you'll know when you find it. And like any great relationship, it just gets better and better as the years roll on. So keep looking, don't settle.
Okay, a few minutes left. This is a picture I had the opportunity to work with Peter M. Senge in MIT 2006. I was half a year there for a visiting scholar. And he was leading a trainee program for company leaders like from HP, Shell, Cisco. And this was something he learned us. When you're looking for your mission and your personal meaning and purpose, you should make it quite simple and plan. And this was the plan what he taught us. And I put my own plan here, so now you know where I'm heading. So I'm heading towards creating means to make Finnish leadership flourish. And the important thing is that you think about what you have already. I mean, what are the strengths and the networks and the people around you that can help you on your journey? Then put some targets. So I had PhD early on in 2006 when I made this drawing first time, and then start to fill in things that you think are the correct ones to focus on in order to get to there where you want to go. I mean, we need to have a plan even in the individual level. My last slide, tips that will impact your life. Dream big, believe in yourself, use positive deviant behavior. I mean, you are not able to build a network if you are negative, if you are arrogant. Nobody wants to be with you. Start first helping others, because when you once help others, then that will come back. Not probably from the same people you have helped, but at least you have put this positive spiral in your network about helping others. One thing that Frank Martela has been researching is that actually, if you ask help from one person, the person who has the opportunity to help you gets a good feeling. So it's actually a gift to ask help. It's not a burden. Write your own life manuscript. Don't follow what your family says or what your parents say or whatever, school or so forth. Do it yourself. Look for a mentor. Ask for somebody who has been there where you are heading. It's not a kind of, when I wanted to be a PhD, I didn't ask help for those who hadn't done that. I mean, you need to ask help from those who've been there where you're going. Think about this 10-10-10. Every day is a new opportunity to build your future. And every day's actions, what you're doing today, are building your future. If you're working, look at the, if your work doesn't meet your dream, you can always craft. I mean, making job crafting means that you can start to fine-tune and kind of have the right attitude, because you will learn everything from every job. Don't be afraid of the setbacks, because that will bring that resilience muscles for you that you can use then in the future. And I think don't assume anything, any person, any situation, any opportunity, because you never know. And I've learned this many times, that when I answered that phone in 9th of May 2012, I could have just been rude. And that was one of the biggest opportunities given to me in a national level from the government. These are my power stones. I carry them in my handbag, depends on what I'm needing. I used to have the trust stone, but nowadays it's relaxed, because I need to get a little bit relaxed as well, because I'm demanding so much about myself, so I need to remind me that it's okay to relax. Thank you for listening. You can learn more from my website.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. There were some great insights to Steve Jobs and happiness and everything.
Yeah. Okay, so our next